Hi everybody, welcome to Caketastic Cakes. It's Jen and I'm going to show you today how to take a regular old yellow box cake mix and turn it into a new and improved delicious chocolate cake. So I'm just going to get right into it here. I am doubling my recipe, so I'm starting with 2 boxes of Duncan Hines cake mix. This is also the yellow cake mix. It's not even chocolate cake mix, and it works. It turns out delicious. Like I said, I'm doubling it, so I put 2 boxes worth in there. And now I'm adding some Jell-O chocolate pudding. This is instant pudding, not the cook and serve. It's instant. I'm adding a half a cup, and then I'm going to add another half of a half, so 1/4 cup. So altogether, 3/4 cup of the Jell-O instant pudding. Now I'm going to add some Hershey's dark cocoa powder. I'm going to add a cup and a half. So there was my 1 cup, here is my half cup, and now I'm going to attach my paddle to my mixer and just mix my dry ingredients together just so they kind of incorporate with each other. If you were going to be doing just 1 box, then just cut everything in half. So you'd have, like 3/4 of a cup of the cocoa powder, about 2/3 of the Hershey's, of the Jell-O chocolate pudding. I added 1.5 cups now of just vegetable oil. So again, if it was 1 box, you would just do 3/4 of a cup. Same with the water, 1.5 cups of water. I'm now going to add 8 eggs, one at a time, so they have a chance to mix in with before I start adding the other. I am going to do 1 at a time, and I'm doing 8 total. So if you're going to do 1 box, you'd only use 4 eggs. I'm cracking them, as you see, into my little measuring cup there, just because I don't want to accidentally get shells in my cake mix. It stinks when that happens. It's always the worst when you bite that little crunch and it's like, ugh, I hate that. All right, so down to my last egg. Gonna add it in, and then I'm going to just let it mix for a little bit. So this is kind of bad quality. I'm sorry about this shot. It's like overexposed or something, but after it had a chance to mix up and the eggs are well incorporated, I'm adding 1 cup of sour cream. It's the full fat kind. It sat on my counter for a little bit, so it came to room temperature. And again, just let it mix and mix and mix till that's incorporated. Now I'm going to add 1 cup of Hershey's syrup. I like to use the dark chocolate syrup, not just the regular Hershey syrup. So it's a lot of syrup, it's pretty rich, it just keeps on going. And this is why, too, that it doesn't matter if you use the yellow cake mix. You're adding so much chocolate to it, it just works. I happen to have some mini chocolate chips laying around, so I went ahead and threw those in too. You don't need to, you always can if you want. But let it mix up, and then it's ready to go into the oven. So I'm greasing my cake pans. These are 8-inch cake pans, and even though we made 2 boxes of the cake mix, you're going to get 3 cake pans worth out of it. So you're going to be able to feed like 25, 30 people with this cake mix. All right. So once your cake pans are greased, and again, these are 8 inches, I'm going to put fill it about halfway up, put it in the oven at 350 for about half an hour. Make sure you test it and check it. There's going to be extra batter, as you can see, left over there. And I'm going to take that extra batter and I'm going to put it in this bowl. I wanted to show it to you real quick. It's by Priority Chef. It's stacking mixing bowls. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. They're not giving me money. It's just something that I use. I really like them because they have the lids that press in, and the metal bowls have a rubber bottom to them, so it grips the counter. They don't slide around or anything. So I just thought I'd share it with you. Again, not sponsored. If they want to sponsor me, that's cool too. But anyway, I am just putting the rest of my cake mix into my mixing bowl. I'm going to cover it up and just put it aside while the first set of cakes bake. When they're done baking, I'm going to, let them cool, take one of the pans, wash it, stick it in the oven. So until then, it's just sitting on my counter. It's not in the fridge. This is the buttercream icing I'm making. I'm just going to show you this real quick. I got I have exactly 3 sticks of butter that I let come to room temperature. They're kind of mushy because it was a warm day here. And so I'm whipping them up a little bit just so they get nice and creamy. And then I'm going to start adding powdered sugar. I have made this buttercream so many times, I tend to not measure stuff anymore. If you were going to measure it, though, you're going to do about 2 cups of powdered sugar for every stick of butter you put in. Okay, that's just kind of like a nice ballpark to get you there. I have some milk that I'm going to be adding here and there, as well as a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Can't go wrong with that, right? And you can see it's kind of getting a little loose and a little more creamy than I'm happy with, so that's when you just start adding more powdered sugar. Now it's too thick. Now you add a little bit of your milk or heavy cream, whatever you're using. Sometimes I even use coffee creamer if I'm going for like a real crazy flavor. And if it becomes too thin again, add some more powdered sugar, back and forth until you have your right amount of powdered sugar per sticks of butter going. And you're at a consistency that you are happy with. This was still a little thick, so I added a little bit more milk to it. I'm going to say, generally speaking, you're going to probably use less than a quarter cup if you make 3 sticks worth. Okay, now put that aside. My cakes are cooled. They're out of the oven. I'm going to remove the tops of them. I have my little tool there that does it for me. It does a pretty decent job. I'm going to admit, not the best, but it was affordable and it does work. So yeah, you can't go too wrong, right? So I'm removing my little cupcake tops, my little muffin tops there. Save those for later because it's delicious. There's my 3rd cake out of the oven. Look at that steam coming off of it. So once that one has also cooled, it's time to stack the cakes. And you can see, even though it is a cake mix, they're nice and dense, but they raised up. And a lot of people, have moral issues using cake mix, and that's fine. If you don't want to use a cake mix, don't use a cake mix. Sometimes I use it if I'm making like a cake for my kid's birthday or something, and I can't be bothered. Or if it's for friends, and I'm just kind of just doing it to be nice. I'll use this. I just find it a little easier. I kind of look at it like if you use a cake mix, you're using your flour. It's got your flour, your sugar, and your leavening already built into it. So, and other people don't like it. They think it's cheating or, whatever. So this is just how I jazz up this. So do whatever you want and so you can sleep at night. This is just what I do if I'm going to be using a cake mix. I make it a little better. Now I have just stacked them. I've iced them, putting my last one on top. So I've got a nice little cake going. Again, just going to cover it up with my buttercream icing. You can make chocolate icing too. If you wanted to make chocolate icing out of the buttercream recipe I just showed you, that nice easy one there, you can mix a little bit of cocoa powder in it and also some Hershey syrup. You're going to have to add a little extra powdered sugar to it in order to, counteract all the moisture the syrup would bring. But it gives you a nice light chocolate kind of a buttercream icing. It's very tasty. All right, so I've got my cake. I've got it all iced on the outside, going all around the bottom. I did the top. Going to smooth it out to make it all pretty with my little smoothing tool there. I don't know the official name of it. I'm sure it has one. But once you get it all said and done, you're going to have a nice cake. It's going to taste way better than just a regular box cake. And you can decorate it however you want. Make it fancy. Just stick some sprinkles on it. It can be as much or as little as you want, but this is going to be nice and solid and firm and rise up nicely. It just comes out pretty good. So if you are going to make this, I hope you found this video helpful. Please like and subscribe because it really does help me out. I've got a ton of other videos out there, so please take a moment to check those out as well. And as always, thank you for watching Caketastic Cakes.